Advertising is a unique and individual way in which a company or brand promote their products or services and persuade a specific audience to be on their side. The ways in which they do this is by using persuasive devices. These are specific techniques used to manipulate the viewpoint of an audience. Examples of persuasive techniques are emotive and moving language, the use of superlatives and direct address, such as best and most, the use of official statistics, unique and totally random, however, sticks in your mind, the tone of one's voice, and relatable storylines. There are two main theories to do with persuasive techniques that explain why adverts have the effect that they do. These theorists are Graham Burton and Maslow. Graham Burton believes that persuasion is due to repetition and constant reinforcement of the brand name and message, reward to say what benefits we will get from them, punishment meaning highlighting how we will miss out if we don't obey the advert, needs making the advert specifically cater to our basic needs and wants, group identity as people will have a need to be in a group to bring security and safety, emulation and envy as they have something of which we want, identification and imitation with the use of celebrity figures as it's someone who we long to be, and finally agreement and values, one of the strongest devices as it communicates a message of which morally you feel you should agree with. Maslow also constructed a hierarchy, meaning after we pass each stage we want more. It states we start with the basics and basic needs such as food and sleep, but long for safety and security, which is stage 2, to then go on to want more, such as stage 3, love and belonging, to a higher self-esteem. This theory states that if you can get a person to progress up the stages until they're the person of whom they dream of being, they're more likely to support your cause. But how do adverts apply these persuasive devices to appeal to their target audience? The first example is a P5 advert. The P5 advert is created to raise awareness of cancer and families to encourage people to visit their advert and learn more about them. There are tracking shots, close up to his face, long shots, so that you can see his drab, tired attire and it's obvious that he's vandalising. There's an audience expectation of a thuggish youth. This is backed up by the body language. It looks suspicious yet determined. There's constant fast movement and looking around as though he's trying not to be seen. It creates a suspicious feel. There's also the mise-en-scène within the house. It's very beige and brown, very neutral colours. Very little things are on the shot, so there's a few photo frames and basic kitchen layout with flashes and jump cuts to intense medical equipment. This just shows the contrast of their normal family life to what they're actually going through. One of the first identifiable devices on this advert are the fact that it confuses our morals. Initially we see a vandal destroying the city with graffiti, so immediately are unimpressed. However, when we see what he did and why, we're relieved and happy, yet what he has is still vandalous, so is it still right? It also shows a family environment with a strong team bond. Like Marlowe's theory, we long for that love and affection. We want that bond in our lives. The second advert is a KFC advert. It shows relatable videos of a normal working class family trying to make it seem as though the restaurant is for everyone and not a specific audience. It shows a big community of family and friends linking to group identity. We want that closeness to community like they all have. We want what they've got and believe that by going to this restaurant we can get it. It shows people of all ages, from a young couple to a middle-aged and older couple, enforcing the fact that it is for everyone, of all ages, and not just one specific type of person. More analytical sides of the advert are the fact that it uses a general everyday setting of which we're used to seeing, and it makes it more relatable. It also shows humour in daily struggles, such as a wonky table. It's a very communal attitude, as though everyone's come together with scraps to make this a fun event, and everyone has the same struggles in life. As previously mentioned, it shows people of all ages, and the repetition of the song "We've Got Family" adds to the family atmosphere that we long for. There's lots of long and establishing shots to identify the setting. There's close-ups on people and specific audiences. Also, the facial expressions are very over the top. Everyone's really happy with lots of smiles and laughter, backed up with the natural sunlight and wildlife setting. This reaction almost comes naturally, and the setting reflects that. It's the happiness that they get from the food.
So when I call you out, get Charlie.
We buy any car.
The third advert is the We Buy Any Car advert. There's constant repetition of the background music and loop of WeBuyAnyCar.com to let us remember the tagline on the website. Constant reinforcement of the declarative line makes us certain of their assertiveness and determination that they will buy any car. There's also envy. We envy that they can get so much for their cars, so want that too. Because we see how someone else could get so much, we're likely to use that brand too, so that we can also get that reward. The advert is very bright and colourful to make it eye-catching and appealing. There's bursts of repetition with We Buy Any Car and lots of sold signs appearing. We believe that they can sell this many cars this quickly, so are more likely to respond in their favour. It's faster paced and moves quickly to reflect the quick sales of their cars. There's a hugely continuous and constant loop. We can imagine it continuing for much longer. It subverts the codes of conventions by using a cartoon and an animation. It makes it seem less serious and fun, however constant power and assertion behind the lines "We buy any car" makes us more serious and puts faith into their brand. Finally, we have the Go Compare advert. By using a totally unrelated and random advert, we can generate a big response. This is because it intrigues the audience and makes them question its relevance. Because of this, we subconsciously remember the advert. This is good as it raises awareness, however it can sometimes lose meaning and the initial message can be lost, and the brand and product forgotten. It can also have the opposite effect. In this Go Compare advert, people are now hugely put off the service due to their boring, cliché and repetitive adverts. The audience have no desire to be the man featured. He's not a celebrity, and so identification and imitation, as said by Graham Burton, will be lost. Also, the use of repetition becomes overdone and annoying, and it makes the audience believe that they're not a serious company, making us less likely to use them in the future. The whole identity attempts to be comical, however, although we acknowledge the company, do not have any intention of using it. It shows that all these people support him, so makes us do the same. There are many examples of many forms an advert can take. The first one is talking heads. This is where you interview everyday people so they can give their own views and opinions. It's usually a medium to close shot of the person's head so you can give an impression of that they are normal people. They're usually an average, normal, working class person talking and giving their own opinions. And they usually give them directly to the camera as though they're talking directly to the audience. This is an example of a talking head advert.
And clarity as far as our subscribers are concerned. So when we publish a deal, we know that...
The second is animation. This is a motion picture of television or film wherein which CGI or drawn images make the advert instead. This is a rapid display of static images and they can either be 2D or 3D. The good thing about using animation is that it's easy to communicate, as you can draw anything you could dream of. It also creates a lasting impression as animation sticks in our minds longer.
Power to you.
Another form is documentary, using factual information by using a real-life setting. We're given facts about the product with a more serious tone as opposed to something made up and totally unrelated. It's less comical, however it's very serious, therefore enforces a serious tone to the audience. It usually uses pictures and camera pans with dramatic music and topics to add excitement and a sense of severity to the scene. This would usually be seen in charity adverts to show the real state of certain countries or certain predicaments. There is also realist narratives. This is a faithful representation of reality and shows an everyday lower/middle class people who can love and use these products to make their life seem better and easier, as though the aid of the product has created this ease. An example of this is this vacuum commercial. We can see that by using the vacuum, people's lives are made easier. Therefore, we want that too. Another example is anti-realist narrative. This is a fanatical idea and is totally fantasy. It's something that can never happen and will never happen. However, the use of CGI is able to happen. For example, this advert with the Citroën C4 robot car dancing in the streets, although we can never get this car because it's impossible and does not exist, we see that it can do anything, and that enforces the meaning behind the car. Also, the tagline at the end, technology brought to life, shows that Citroën has really tried to personify their car and give it a personality. There are also different styles the adverts can take. These can be humorous, meaning they have a comical value, and are not to be taken seriously. This is like the Heineken beer advert. Also, they can be parodic, meaning an advert takes an existing concept and applies it to itself. A parody advert such as the Specsavers advert is intertextualised to mimic the Lynx advert. The adverts can be dramatic, meaning they purposefully emphasise and overact to create an impact. These are typically seen on insurance adverts and charity campaigns.
It won't be the same without Dad.
We all miss him, love.
Finally, they can be surreal. This means that the audience is disorientated by providing an advert that isn't real and would seem to have hallucinatory qualities. This is relevant in the Cadbury's advert, as the gorilla can't really be playing the drums as it wouldn't work in real life. However, it is happening here. The characteristics of the brand and service can also have an impact on the advert. To ensure the best quality is achieved, the product must be good and have a unique selling point or meaning. The unique selling point is what makes a brand unique and different from all products. It's a factor that differentiates a product from its competitor. For example, cosmetic adverts may have an extra active ingredient that others don't have. This selling point sets it aside from its competitors and makes us more likely to buy it because we feel we're going to get so much more from it. Or, an advert can be specific and centred around a brand identity. This is an iconic symbol or thing that represents the brand and is instantly recognisable to the general public. They're things of which a brand use that become related and represented by. An example of this is the Cadbury advert. Their brand identity is the purple colour. If we look at some Cadbury adverts, we see that in each advert, the same purple colour is used. This becomes instantly noticeable as the packaging on the Cadbury products is also purple, so we relate it to the product. Finally, regulation. To ensure an advert is suitable to be aired to the general public, it must pass a certain criteria set by the ASA. The ASA stands for the Advertising Standards Authority. They have developed a list of laws of which an advert cannot break. Breakage of the laws result in the advert being banned of public viewing, or being showed after a certain time. These are examples of these laws as listed on their website. An example is misleading advertising. This is where the advert cannot contain information that could possibly deceive or lie to the public. This could be false claims, false prices, or a false product. Other examples are environmental claims, distance selling, political and controversial matters, and privacy. An example of an advert of which received complaints is this VIP e-cigarette advert. It was said to be too sexualised, cast, and was overtly sexualising e-cigarette use. It was also challenged as to whether it should be broadcast before the watershed at 9 p.m. The outcome was that it was not allowed to broadcast before 9 p.m. It's important to have regulations in advertising to ensure a clear and concise understanding. By using regulations, we can avoid offence and insult and also can reduce confusion. This advert received 83 complaints from the general public. It was said to be glamorising the use of cigarettes when in actual fact it should be advertising the opposite.